initially on the face, it sounded like a quick and easy fix for the problem. The more we've come into understanding the statutory requirements our government has to implement, there are unanswered questions that will be presented to voters when they vote. That concerns me. A charter amendment has to be established, as I understand it, to identify the library services only, which I have no problems with. A reluctance by the state to assist in implementing the income tax concerns me. It took Lane County 2 years to put something like this together. We have a task force that we're identifying some, or attempting to identify some long-term answers. I'm worrying that we're rushing to judgment and making a decision that could have one of two outcomes. One, it could pass, and we could, and then be implementing all this other legal issues, or it could be defeated. And if it's defeated, what then? This is a highly contentious issue. The next question I have is, we would not be able to start collecting possibly until 2008, and more likely not until 2009. And somebody has made proffered the suggestion that somehow we can borrow that money based on the tax that would be coming in. And I don't think there's a mechanism to borrow money on tax money we haven't collected in the future, and that was proffered at by some folks. And I don't know how that can happen. And how do you put something on the ballot? And what do we do in the interim from now until 2009, until the revenue stream begins, if it passes? I think that's the technical question that needs to be answered that we haven't sort of broached. And the Chamber of Commerce completed the Metro Chamber of Commerce completed a survey, and if that's an indication of how the voters would go, and it may or may not, you may all have your opinion about that, but there was a 15% positive reaction to an income tax, and there was a 61%, as I recall, in opposition to it, just in the folks that they surveyed, and they had a survey base of 1,000 or some members, I think. I'm not sure how many. Brad Hicks was here in our task force meeting and gave us those numbers. So it's a big issue. It doesn't mean just 1% of income tax for our citizens. It's actually a 10% increase based on the state income tax that we presently pay now. We pay 9%, and it's an additional 1% on top of the 9. Now, even if with the exclusions of the federal and state income tax. The other thing that I've noticed in a number of articles, including one most recently from the Wall Street Journal, indicates that a number of states are doing away with their income tax because it inhibits economic development, and they're moving to property taxes and sales taxes, which I think are sales tax, to me, sounds more equitable, and it's broad-based, and it seems like it has a lot more involvement with the community, and what you buy, you take your tax for, and we haven't really addressed that issue. One of the ideas that came forth from a gentleman from Ashland, Mr. Correa, I believe, made the suggestion that a gas tax in the county, half the gas that's bought in most of these filling stations along the way are not even residents of our county. That offered some degree of viability. But I think the income tax issue has a lot of questions to be answered. It will create a degree of contention in our community, because it already has, as long as we understand that.
Mr. Chairman?